Hello everyone, we flew from Pittsburgh to Louisville. Check out the top of the video, you can see the park from the plane. I actually stayed in downtown in the New Lou district of Louisville, which is only about 10 minutes from the park. There are tons of really charming and locally owned restaurants downtown. So you can see here in the entrance, they have temperature checks and security bag checking as well. The price to get in as a one-day pass is $29.99 and the parking is $10 a car. The season pass price, which I just showed you real quick, gets you free visits the remainder of 2020 and all of 2021 is only $50, which also gets you free parking. So if you're from Louisville or the nearby, it's absolutely worth it to do that. Kentucky Kingdom has an interesting history, and there are a few really amazing documentary videos on YouTube about it. Six Flags once owned this park when they owned a ton of different parks, and essentially it was overlooked, closed for 4 years, and eventually brought back by an original owner to reopen in 2014 with this ride. Because of the proximity to the airport, as you saw in my original clip, there is height restrictions to rides at this park, so they have to be creative with what they put here. Lightning Run was my favorite ride, especially in the back. There is so much airtime, which is so surprising because, you know, rides twice its size have had less of a punch than this ride did. The park is split up into two sections per se. In the section that is where you first come in by the entrance with Lightning Run, there's also a kids area which had quite a few children's rides. As you can see, there's a signage. It's still like the old Six Flags signage. They painted over, which is pretty cool. But then there's a bridge that you cross. You can see it here. We are crossing the bridge, and that brings you over the road that you drove in to get in. And it brings you to the second section of the park, which has the water park and the rest of the rides. I really like Kentucky Kingdom's layout with the water park essentially in the center of the park and the rides on the outside of the water park. It was an interesting layout and definitely different than other layouts that I have seen in the past. And my favorite part about, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, my favorite part about the park is you get free Pepsi drinks the whole time that you're there, which is really awesome. It's right across from a Pepsi distribution center. And so, yeah, you can have free Diet Mountain Dew all day, which is my jam. Thunder Run is a wooden roller coaster. This one we liked in the front a lot, and it was a really nice ride. Now on to Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser used to be a dueling wooden roller coaster, and then they redid it as an RMC and took out the dueling portion of it and just redid, you know, one side of the coaster and made it into Storm Chaser. I love RMC coasters. I think they're definitely my favorite style of roller coaster, and we really love this in the front. Watching this back, they could probably use some nicer landscaping in this area. It looks a little rough. They had quite a few food places. I would say they're all pretty normal park food, chicken fingers, burgers, pizza at your normal price range at $10 to $15. Kentucky Flyer is their newest roller coaster, opened in 2019. This was more of a first roller coaster for kids kind of ride. It was a smaller roller coaster, but definitely a good family ride. So now we're on T3. As you can see, the restraints, they just redid them and redid the trains. And I love these restraints. They are so much better than the ones that go over your head. If you've watched any of our other videos, you know I complain about the restraints that make you have a full-blown concussion when you get off the ride. Now T3, these restraints were a lot better. So I was so excited for this ride. But I don't know if it's because the pants I had on were like slippery material, but I got pushed forward in my restraints, and then it was like I was halfway out of the seat, but I couldn't get back into the restraints. So it was really uncomfortable on my legs. Like I was almost about to cry, and just kind of a bumpy ride. But again, I'm happy I didn't have a concussion. I will say that. They do have a Raging Rapids. It's shorter of a ride than, it's not a really long one is what I'm trying to say, but it's nice that they have one. You definitely get wet on this one. I saw other people dripping with water, so I actually had Joe go alone. You can see him here by himself on a whole boat. They did have the Ferris wheel off due to social distancing. So at this water park, they have what's called the Big Kahuna wave pool, where the waves are 10 times stronger and bigger than normal wave pools, and they definitely were. Look how insane those waves are. This was a flatbread pizza from the pizza place. It's pretty good. You can see this plane flying over. It seems really close, but that's not even the closest one that I saw that day. Especially the UPS ones went right above the water park. It was insane how close they felt. This is one of their lazy rivers. I love this lazy river. The cool thing about it is they actually had kids tubes. You can see here they're the more colored ones that were different sizes from the adult tubes, and I thought that was really cute because as you can see right there, the kids fit into them really well. The water coaster was closed, again, due to social distancing. That was the only other thing that was closed in addition to the Ferris wheel, though. So although I wanted to go on it, I was really excited. We were both really excited that really nothing else was closed. We rode the lazy river a bunch of times. These were some of the best tube slides I've ever been on. The yellow and the orange one, they had like drop-offs in them. And how you got on the slide was you went through this house thing. It was really awesome. I loved those. We rode those a ton of times. They have the classic funnel slide. And you do have to carry your tubes up to that one. It's called the Tornado. I think they're called the Tornado a lot or all the time. Another Big Kahuna time. They do have times where it's not the Big Kahuna, where it's just regular waves, but I just thought the Big Kahuna waves were so funny because people were like struggling in there with how big they were. They had a really nice kiddie section of the park. They had more water slides here. You definitely would want to go to the water park. If you were coming to this park, you have to go to the water park. Not only is it a really great water park, but I mean, it's a majority of the rides at this park. I wanted to show you, they had a second lazy river, but it was for those little, you can see the little yellow, like, what are those called? Noodles? It was a noodle lazy river, which was so fun. That drop slide was so tall, it had to be one of the tallest ones that I've ever seen. And then this is the last slide that was open. All in all, Kentucky Kingdom was such a fun park, and I would love to go again. And if you do go to Louisville, check out 4th Street Live. It's a street where they block off the road and have a ton of really nice restaurants and fun things to do. And finally, we are back home in Pittsburgh. Thanks so much for watching.